Welcome, and hello to your Miami Heat Beat post-game show. I am Siobhan with you today, helming the ship while G is up in Canada somewhere getting drunk. Today with me, I have my boy Franky. G, how are you, Franky? Oh, you're muted, Franky. Muted, Saucy.
They didn't blow it in the fourth. Sorry, I am producing. I am rusty. I look like a fourth quarter Heat offense right now, but we win. Heat win.
Third
Great win.
quarter, third quarter, third quarter.
Good win. I'm doing well, Bon. How are you?
I'm all right. Saucy takes. How we doing up there with the glow light?
Oh man, everything's as everything was as good as the offense in the first half, but
So good. So
So
things were
good. He
going
brought
well.
the
above
umbrella.
average, above average.
Above average. Yeah, 16th ranking. Um, so yeah, let's just kind of jump right into it. We don't have to stay here too long. Like you said, Miami holds on to uh, a lead in the fourth. We pull out a close game, a sub 100 point game for both teams, 99-96. That is fantastic for me. Not like ideal, but shit like that warms my heart. Shout out to my guy Mark Schindler. I feel like it warmed his heart a little bit too. Um, so yeah, let's just kind of go with it. The first half, I thought the offense in the first half looked pretty good, and there were a few components that I really liked that helped juice it in the first half. Frankie, how did you feel about the first half offense, namely the pace of the offense, either in transition, off the secondary break, just the pace and cuts and the movement of the first? How did you feel about the offense to begin the game?
I really enjoyed it. It felt more free flowing. Everybody got getting involved. Ball was humming. Everybody was playing within the system and like playing for each other. That's like the
Yeah.
ideal kind of flow that you
Yep.
kind of want as a coach. You're looking for everybody to get involved early, get everybody the rock. Like Bam, I felt Bam had like a really strong first half, and he had like 6 points in the first half because he had like 4 assists, 4 or 5 assists. Just
Hmm.
getting everybody involved, strategically attacking the gaps from each level of the floor. They weren't forcing it, just hunting shots. They were taking what shots were there, and they were being aggressive when the gaps were there too. And that's something that's lacked a lot this season. And that's what bogs down the offense sometimes in the half court is they settle too much, especially in transition. They settle way too much for jumpers and looking for the kick when there's a 3-on-2 instead of trying to be aggressive, trying to get to the rim. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was. I felt early on you felt a lot of energy from the young guys, especially Jaime, especially Jovic. Even though Jovic had a rough shooting game, he had like 3 assists in the first half. I thought he moved the ball extremely well when they went to the zone. He got Bam a nice little touch pass dunk. Um, and yeah, I just felt like the process was good for the most part. I really enjoyed the first half. I think they showed a lot of what we want to see them be uh, for 48 minutes, and now it's just finding that.
Yeah. When you say playing for one another, what does that look like to you? You touched on it a little bit, but I want to give you a little bit of space. Delve into that just a little bit more.
It's the ball free flowing. It's moving side to side, reversing the ball, skipping it back and forth. Like there's way too many times where the Heat offense really bogs down is it sticks to a side. You're forcing a DHO action. You're forcing a pick and roll action. The defense is just locked in on a 2-man action and doesn't get to flow into it. The weak side help just gets to focus on the ball and doesn't have to worry about what's behind them, and
Yeah.
that's where it really bogs down. When you're defense and you don't have to worry about anything else, just focus on ball. It makes guard protecting the paint really fucking easy, and I think it really affects the flow of it. Also, as shooters, it's really hard to catch and shoot when you haven't touched the ball all possession.
Right.
So even if
Yes.
you can get a catch and shoot three wide open, but you haven't touched the ball in 2 minutes, it's really hard to get a good even flow, get your legs into it if you haven't moved your body at all either. And I felt like the cuts were well timed, they were spaced really well,
Hmm.
opportunistic, and filled our cuts. We have so many cuts into the paint and in the paint, and the first half, I felt we went back to it in the second half, unfortunately. But first half was
Yes.
a lot of cut, nothing there. You show, you flash, it's not there. Keep cutting all the way through to the corner and let the offense flow. But first half was great. Second half was a lot more of regular Heat basketball. Missed a lot of bunnies too.
Yeah. Lou, we finished with 23 assists on the night, right? And it felt like a bit more, but maybe that's because for me, I'm still um in such love with the way that the first half went. 16 of those assists, shout out to you doing some research for me really quick. 16 of those assists come in the first half. We only get 7 in the second half. We'll touch on the second half in a second, but what did you see offensively from the first half? Was it the insertion of kind of the Duncan back into the starting group and what he allows them to do? Was it more so the young guys and just kind of the freshness of their legs and just wanting to juice? How did you feel the offense, I guess, kind of oriented itself around, motion and moving it in the first?
I feel like we controlled pace for just about the entirety of the first half,
Mm-hmm.
except for some moments where Paulo was doing his thing and we couldn't really contain him, specifically in that second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like offensively, like Franky said, like it felt like everybody was getting the ball, and even the people who weren't shooting good, like Jovic, etc., were doing their things in terms of like not letting the ball lose any energy as soon as they touched it. Something wasn't there, onto the next play, and it was just constant. Like it felt like they were flowing into every single set, and if the first option wasn't there, they were hitting second, third, fourth options with enough time on the shot clock to be able to facilitate a decent offense. I mean, they finished with 56 points in the first half, and it felt like they were just kind of not getting what they wanted, but they were comfortable. Is
Yeah.
kind of my point. And then obviously we'll touch on the second half here later, but things started to take a turn, and just it I don't know. Specifically for me, it felt like like I'm not a big component. Like this team does need Lowry, but I feel like considering the people that we were missing today, which was ours, 1, 2, and 3, essentially. I do think the guys stepped up admirably. I'm not gonna flame Josh Richardson today because I do think he played particularly well in the first half, in
Fair.
terms of getting us some relief buckets. And it's crazy because in the first half we had 56 points. It felt like Jovic missed alone like 2 or 3 bunnies.
Yeah.
On transition, like it's crazy to me that our offense was flowing as well as it was in the half court, but I felt like in transition in the first half, while I do like that we're getting out and running more, I still feel like they can be a lot more efficient running these breaks, man. Because
Yes.
my
Yes.
goodness, some of these things that they're doing, it's like they're getting 3-on-2s, 3-on-1s, and it's like, what are we like? Why are we settling for a contested layup over a guy bigger than us when we have an extra pass to somebody who's cutting right next to us, or an open three? I don't mind the 3-pointers in transition. I just don't like when the 3-pointers in transition are coming from players who shouldn't be taking them and they're contested. When those two things are happening, then it's an issue. But it was the first half offense wasn't bad. And to Franky's point, like Bam wasn't really scoring, but it felt like he didn't need to.
Yes.
And it was, the offense was just clicking. A lot of that was Jaime making shit happen. I'm gonna be very fucking honest. If he had a stretch there where it was just his ability to process the game offensively, in terms of, I have a smaller guy, I'm going to back him down, put him in a blender and get to the cup, or I have a bigger guy, I think I have foot quickness on him, I'm going to bring him out, face him up, drive by him, and then use my pivots. Just, man, for a rookie, shit is special. Every time we watch him, like, it shouldn't be the thing, but like every time I'm like, are they going to figure him out? And we are damn near, I believe we're 38 games into the season. We are almost at the halfway point of the season, and he has not been figured out yet. So that's a fucking positive.
So to a couple of your things, right? You're talking about just the free flowingness of the first half, and the first cut's not there. Okay, cool. We're moving it. It's like I liken it to like a quarterback going through their progression. Sorry, your first target, that first route you're trying to hit. Nope, not there. I'm rifling through my options quickly and efficiently, and I'm not losing any kind of rhythm while I'm going to do it. And it's fun to watch, like that type of Miami basketball. I enjoy basketball that is played that way. I understand what a central like guard focused, or like the central focus of like a guard who can break shit down, who can get hit. I understand the importance of that and what that does for our offense. And I won't say that we don't need that, at least in spots, but I enjoy everyone getting a chance to touch it. You can, like, watching it, you can feel the ball whizzing around. You can feel guys be engaged and enjoying what it is that they're doing, how they're playing with one another. And I think that goes into a lot of the playing for one another, because we're all playing with one another. I thought the first half looked really good. Lou, you talked about Jaime's just ability to exploit whatever mismatch is kind of presented at him. At one point, Miami had back to kind of the first and some of the Jaime stuff, and that's just him pushing in transition too. At some point, we had 10 fast break points where in the first half, where we averaged like 11 for the total game. And that's the young guys wanted to do it. And like I was saying, Lou, to your point about Jaime, just the processing speed. Like you said, I got a little on me, I'm taking you under the cup. I got a big on me, I'm giving you a fake, and I'm timing my fake. I had a tweet about it a little while ago. Like, Jaime plays in like the half beats. Like he sets a dude up, anticipating that they'll react on the one, and now I'm making my move kind of on the two. While you're in your falling down, while you're in your descent from my fake, I'm going up. Stuff like that is just so kind of, uncanny. And at one point he had 7 field goals, and all of them came in the paint. Like, he is our biggest piece of rim pressure, I feel like. And it's nuts. Like, I don't know if any of us kind of, first saw him having just kind of this type of impact. So in the course of
did.
And you can't. And like,
if you say you did, you're
exactly
lying. Like, let's keep it honest.
You can say that his skills he has translatable skills, but to see it actually playing out in such a clear and fucking efficient way is so nice. Go ahead, Franky.
There's like we all saw his film in college, and we knew he was a crafty, high IQ player. There's a difference between doing it to a 20-year-old and doing it to 28-year-olds, 9-year veteran in the NBA.
League vet.
Yes, and guys who've been around the league. Doing it to Joe Ingles, who's got more experience on his head than Jaime's been alive.
True.
Like he's so crafty and smart with the ball, and like I feel like you're seeing more in this recent stretch. Like, I just want to talk about it. You're seeing in this recent stretch, he is showing a little bit of tired legs. At points, especially in the second half. He had like 17 in the first half. It finished with 19. And that's to be expected. He's still a rookie, and he's still got to get his body accustomed to playing 82. I don't think he's missed a game yet.
I was going to say, Franky, he said only player has played every game. I think he's played the most fourth quarter minutes of the whole rookie class. Like, he's been a stalwart.
And the I'm sorry, you mentioned the bunnies, but that was a problem for the Heat all night. That's the only reason this game was fucking close, because neither team could shoot. They both shot 30% from three, but the Heat missed so many fucking bunnies.
So many. And it feels like Jovic specifically, he needs to do a better job of I feel like when he's dribbling the ball and he's going downhill, very good at avoiding contact and getting to a comfortable shot. He just doesn't have the roller in him yet. And it's okay. He's 20 years old. He's never, I tweeted the other day, he was a shooting guard, small forward overseas at 18, who was taught, or who was being forced to play the 5. They realized that shit doesn't work. Moved him to a 4 and move him kind of to a more comfortable spot. But he's still doing a lot of things. He didn't pick and pop. I mean, he wasn't really picking and popping or picking and rolling anywhere overseas. He's just learning this. So just the cadence when he catches the ball, that he doesn't have to 1-2 and go straight up, that he can take a dribble, kind of like, to Bond's point on like the things Jaquez does to get him off rhythm and then finish around him or draw a foul and stuff like that. Those things will come. But I feel like Jovic specifically today, offensively, I didn't think he played bad, but he did miss like 3 or 4 bunnies where I was like, dang.
Shout out Jeff in the chat. Since November 11th, Jaime is 15th in minutes played, just in the whole league. 14th. Sorry. 14th. Clarification. Lou, to your point about Nico, and one of the things that I have enjoyed, like you said, he's been moved around from what he used to play to where they tried to play him. That shit didn't really quite work. Moving him back out to an area of the floor that he can better exploit the things that he does do well. I've appreciated the way that he is. He's put on more. Like he's visibly stronger. Like you can see that he's put on more. Yeah, but he also plays a bit stronger too. He's taking bumps. He's rebounding super aggressively in traffic and stuff like that is just really nice to see. Like a good aggressive rebound. That's like a slingshot kind of into a break. Like all of these things are momentum gainers. And I'm just, for what his inefficient shooting night was, just continuing to watch him, get his feet more and more comfortable on an NBA floor. Let's move though into first half was what it was. Third quarter, bird quarter. Like
real turdy.
Kind of all season it's felt, or at least at large chunks of the season, it's felt like we go away from the processes of the things that worked for us in the first, and we just kind of do something completely different sometimes. And at times it is to the credit of the defense, right? There are adjustments that are being made and kind of all of these things. But sometimes I do feel like a lot of it is us. And like I said, we finished the game with 23 assists, had 16 in the first half, 7 in the second half. Jaquez has 2 points in the second half. Franky, you talked about some of it being, some tired legs. Lou, what is it? And I want to stay away. Well, no, we can a little bit of macro, but specifically tonight, but a little bit, like I said, overall for the season. What is it, or at least recently, that has felt like has been the shift in what we look like in the third versus the way that we are comporting ourselves in the first half?
It just feels like you stated, like the processing comes out a little bit clunky. It feels like specifically in these recent games without Lowry, it's felt like we started good, like the game plan is good, and then the other teams adjust, and we're just a tick late to just counter. And again, it's a lot of players taking responsibilities that they typically don't have.
Oh, we can start going. Hey.
Hello, Gianni.
Hey, I heard what Luke said. Listen, I'm tuning in. I'm in a frigid Montreal. It's like 3 degrees. I'm colder than the Heat offense. All right, Lou, I like what you said. Without Lowry, they get off the.
All right, take him out. Get him out of here. Thank you.
I didn't know he was backstage. I would never say some shit like that. I apologize, y'all.
Let him hijack the show. You can bring it back in, Frankie. Go ahead, Lou. Finish.
Oh, he quit. He left.
I'm waiting.
No, it feels like we kind of stall out, and credit to specifically other teams, but I do think our screening needs to be better. It felt like in the third quarter specifically, they stalled out our offense about 3-4 times. And it's not just on the screener. It's also on these people who are not used to being ball handlers. They are not hugging Bam's screen tight enough, and they're allowing the player to interfere and just completely shut off our offense.
Oh, my God, yes.
And that happened like for 6-8 for the 4 minutes that we didn't score. It felt like I saw that 6 times. I was like, can we? And during these stints, I feel like I wish we would counter a little bit more. And I know Jaquez has tired legs, but at some point we need to incorporate him in the mid post when it feels like our offense is getting stalled out above the 3-point line. Let's go back to what we do good. Yes. And that is, if we don't have the perimeter
posting
players,
off extended block,
exactly. Run your horn splits, do whatever you need, get them on the block. Just basically stop making it a perimeter oriented game. If they're taking you out of that, like we have enough counters in theory to just, all right, that's not working. Next thing, and just hit it. And like this is the difference was in the first half, he was getting those and he was making them pay. And then in the second half, it was like they were just trying too hard to get the same set moving. And it was like just the ball handling, the screen navigation from them was very good. But like our players, Duncan a couple times, Jaquez a couple times, Bam has some fault too in the screen setting, but like they were just getting cut off because they weren't hugging this, like they weren't forcing the guy to go into the screen.
Frankie, you felt like you wanted to touch on that?
Oh my God, so badly. It's so much lazy work on the guards. They
Yes.
feel that they get chased. They're getting chased. So all they got to do is run to Bam, and like you said, like they're not coming tight enough. They're expecting Bam to move late and set a late illegal screen, but that's putting Bam in potential foul
Yes.
trouble that we do not need him to be with our depth and our defense depending on Bam the way it is.
Yep.
You do the work for him, set your man up, push him down, come off tight, a lot tighter. They're giving them so much space to wiggle between, and it's bad enough that it's Jalen Suggs, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in basketball. He's an elite screen navigator. You cannot make the job easy for him. And Duncan normally does a pretty good job at it. But yeah, tonight a bunch of time, especially on the DHOs, you have to come off real tight because Bam's got to expose the ball there. If you don't come tight, you're getting a potential for a little tip, a little deflection, get a little bobble, and that creates a turnover, and they're going the other way. And they need to do a much better. That's something they definitely need to clean up. And it's I think part of that is and Bon, you can speak more to it, but I think part of it comes down to lapse of stamina. With your focus when you're running so short-handed, I feel you're much more susceptible to little mental technical mistakes like that.
Yeah, super. Like you have mental lapses. You have like these mental bouts of fatigue that, like you said, take away from some of your technicality and movement. And like you're saying, those DHOs, especially against a team and with an elite screen navigator that's going to, make that task as difficult as he can himself, you cannot be allowing space to make that easier. But with those super tight DHOs almost force you into. Suggs bothered the shit out of Duncan. D-Rob came out on top, but it was still a battle. He super did Craig Dillinger, even in the first half. So Duncan hit those first 2 threes, and then like that next possession, he had it in the high left corner. He went up one time. Jalen slapped it out of his hand, got it back, tried to give him like his little fake thing. I think Jalen hit it again. I was like, okay, so like Jalen's in Duncan shit, and that's cool. Like that, that's fine. But Lou, to your point, we have other things that we can go to when that stuff isn't working. Like draw attention to the other things that we can kind of do. Then you eventually loosen those things that you were trying to do back up. Those like super tight DHOs, you almost force yourself into like and it's tough because so like Duncan is the primary DHO guard, right? And while Duncan's ball handling has improved, his passing is, better or whatever, those super tight DHOs almost force you into kind of nothing but a floater, a lob, a drive to kind of finish at the rim or a kick. It's like, yes, you have to do it tight, but it almost takes away some of the what else that you can get to with the handoff, especially with Duncan trying to come for the three. You were talking about the ball handlers, Lou. There was one point in time, and about Jaime needing to be more involved when it is this lineup. It was like Caleb, Josh, Jaime, Haywood, and Kevin Love at one point. And we were trying to initiate offense through Josh and Caleb. And we have Jaime just kind of sitting in the corner after having, had these bursts of, I can do things, like, kind of let me help us do things. Let me help set us up. Hey there, back there. Franky, when we have those types of lineups, how would you prefer to see it orchestrated? And I know, for perseverance or for the preservation, of Jaime, he can't have all of the on-ball reps, but you have Caleb, Josh, Jaime, Haywood, and Kevin. Who is supposed to orchestrate and like organize, and not even organize? We do a decent job getting people in places, but triggering it and getting all of the things. What are we supposed to be looking for in those types of lineups?
I thought they did a great job early on, just like letting it flow and being like opportunistic about anytime you make the defense rotate. There was plenty of plays, and there were some plays where I noticed it. I tweeted about it that Duncan missed it, where like on the main point, it's Jaime because he's the perimeter guy, he's the point guard in these lineups. Jovic did a great job starting, even though he didn't shoot well. But it's more of a team effort because there's so many actions you can go to. You can go to Bam and Jaime in the high post. You can go to Jovic passing from the wings. His passing, finding cutters and finding Bam slipping has been really key in those early starts. But there's plays where you're not really running, like you're running multiple actions within a play. And you got to be really key on taking advantage of the defense. There were so many plays in the second half where Duncan's coming off a DHO, Bam gets the slip and roll, the defense helps, and Duncan's still looking for Bam, and he has the one pass away skip for a wide open three to Jaime, to Josh, to Caleb, and those are high percentage catch and look threes. And we're still trying to force the issue there inside. And it's just those kind of things where you need to clean up. And if you stack those on top of each other and make that happen time and time after again, like you're gonna miss out on some great opportunistic looks. And with you're playing the shot clock, you're gonna have to be against the shot clock a lot. And that's what it boils down to. But I felt Jaime getting them going, getting the clean passes. We've talked way too much about bad post entry passes and games where they can't even get the ball inside the post. But Bon, I want to go right back to you. That first play of the game where instead of getting Bam involved with the post up early, what did they do, and how did that look for you?
I loved it. The first play of the game for Miami is always bringing Bam to the ball with like low paint cross screen or some diagonal up screen, back screen type of action. He's coming to the paint. He gets his face up, and then we kind of go from there. We started tonight, same action, but bringing Jaime off. And he just has a comfort there. And you keep Bam kind of spaced a little bit. He gives it to Duncan. Duncan penetrates, doesn't really have it, kicks to Nico, knockdown three. And, I don't know. We have those things that we can do. Like we have, those ways that we can incorporate multiple people. There was a play, I think it was definitely in the second half, I can't remember the quarter, where we moved it side to side. It began with a Jaime, like mid post up, nothing there, moved it around. I think Nikola dumped it off to Bam on the left high block, try to get some stuff there. So, the third quarter offense, it just tends to stagnate in such a confounding way. Like it's really weird. Even like Josh, not going to harp on him, but he was doing some good cutting, some good off the ball cutting, some good cutting when guys' heads are turned. Franky, to that point, talk about the advantages that cutting and advancing the ball. We're going to try to get out of here within the next 10 minutes, but talk about the advantages that you get when you move the ball with a cut and with a pass rather than trying to force the action off of a dribble so much.
Well, you just talked about it multiple times. You said nothing there, move it. Nothing there, move it. And that's been a big problem about the on-ball juice for the Heat this season. Lou, we've talked about this a lot. Just how if they can't force it when it's not there, you gotta when there's nothing there, you're attacking a gap, and the defense, even if you don't get far, you get 1 foot in the paint, you're bringing the defense in. The defense has to help.
At least some.
And you had, it's on your teammates' job as well to open up the angle for the pass, open up the cut for the right spot to suck in the defense and take advantage of you already penetrating, even if it's a little bit. But we get far too often we're dribbling and we're trying to get through it and trying to get through it and trying to get through it, and then boom, we're taking the contested shot and it's not, and we're like, where's the foul? And that's not good offense. But when the ball is moving, the ball is humming, you're able to take advantage of the defense rotating. And when the defense isn't like, no matter how fast you are, no matter if you're Dwayne Wade, no matter if you're Ish Smith or John Wall, you're not going to be faster than the ball. You cannot move faster on ball than without the ball. So these cuts, these passes, that zone play where they swung it around to the corner, Nico touch pass to Bam on the slip for the dunk. That was one of the prettiest plays all season.
So simple.
Simple.
It was so good. I went back. I rewinded the play after the dunk twice. I was there. I was telling my dad. I was like, "Are you looking at this?" Because it's that's what happens. And like that's why I don't want to harp on it, but the point guard conversation to me is so overblown sometimes, because it doesn't fucking matter if you have a point guard. If everybody can make decisions quick like they did there, it was quick pass, Duncan, Nico, bam, less than 2 seconds, just doop, doop, doop. Easy zone buster. And if you have people that can process without, and huge credit to Jovic. because he's done this now several times. And I want to get to something really quick on Jovic because we've gotten a decent sample size now. Jovic and Bam minutes. I have some stats, but just your eye test. What has it told you between these two? Like, how do you feel Bond specifically? Because I know me and you are huge Nico fans.
I enjoy it. Like it's and
I know you too, Franky.
We gotta
said it like I don't like the guy.
We're gonna have to do like a separate pod because there's so much stuff that I kind of would like to talk about with you two specifically, definitely with getting Tiffany in here. But like I enjoy it. You, if nothing else, you can't play like you can play small on Nikola, but oftentimes they're playing some length on him, so that's at least moving some length out of the paint. So Bam is more free to be who he is and kind of less space. Nikola is he gets Bam involved so much easier than some of the other guards. An elevated sight line, like being able to just see above things and not have to give a million fakes to get a defender's limbs to move out of your lane. To then like it's so refreshing. It feels so easy, kind of so natural. And I just want them to do it more. Like I've just been very pleased with it. I know some of the defensive stuff needs to be cleaned up, but I think it's promising for them if they commit to it being kind of a thing.
You know, I want to touch on some things here because I do agree. I love the Nikola Duncan Bam Spain pick and roll with Nikola bringing it up. He's hit Bam several times just because he's so damn big. He can see over all these arms. Yeah, he just zooms it to him. But a thing I want to talk about is defensively, and it's to your point. Jovic isn't the best defender. I'm not here to say he is.
Right.
But what he allows is Bam to hunt on the perimeter. And they've played, per cleaning the glass, 247 possessions together. That is a significant amount of possessions. Yep. They are plus 12.2 in net rating with these two guys on the floor. Their defense is 99th percentile at 104 points per 100 possessions.
That's wild.
Let me repeat that. Their defense is elite when these two are on the floor. And this doesn't have to do that. Nikola Jovic isn't the best defender we have.
Yeah.
He's not. But what it allows is Bam to be free to roam the perimeter. It allows your digs to be a little bit more diggier, I guess is the word.
Yeah. Stronger, more aggressive, like more present. Like they feel like real digs and not just like
they feel like real exactly. They
matador digs.
Exactly. Because he's actually lengthy enough to affect some of these lanes. Their defensive rebounding through the roof with these two guys on. Their ability to force what you call turnovers, very good.
What you call
looking at it, so I was trying to say it. It's a TO, it's a timeouts. No, but realistically, like all these things clicking together, man. Like it's beautiful. The Heat have some tough decisions. Jimmy's gonna come back. We're gonna get people healthy. But man, I'm sorry. I didn't want to take us down this rabbit hole. But it's just it's impressive that even on a bad game, quote unquote bad game from Jovic offensively in terms of scoring, like there's still takeaways. Like his rebounding has helped Bam be on the perimeter. His ability to push pace off of these rebounds has helped the offense flow together offensively, even when they haven't had the best pieces.
And even when like he or Jaime miss on the push, that like that they're pushing, and so you're more susceptible to like wanting to follow them after the push. Bam got at least two or three putbacks, right? Just off of one of them, kind of pushing and maybe blowing it.
Rim pressure. Who would have thought?
Look at us.
Who'd have thunk it? No, but Lou, it's what you said. Like I said, I literally tweeted about it. Even with Jovic's limitations, he's still big as hell. And
you can't teach that.
If you're 6'5" next to Bam, you have to be perfect. You have to be in the spot, in position, perfectly timed, no angle to the basket, boxing out every time. Jovic is
it's so obvious when you're not.
Exactly. And Jovic is like, oh shit, I'm a beat late. I know where I'm supposed to go. My body's still not quick enough, still not adjusting quick enough, but I'm still, because I'm 7 feet tall, I'm gonna disrupt the shot. I'm gonna put my hands up, and I got a 9 foot whatever standing reach, and I'm gonna bother it. And you can't teach that. Like like one of the things we talked about last season, Bond, when G was like, yeah, I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready defensively. We're like, no, he's not. But he's moving the right way. He's going the right way. He's going towards the right spot. His mind is going fast. His body's not reacting.
And I'm okay with that.
I'm okay. He's 19. He was 19. Yep. He's 20. Yep.
Last game, he was one tick late on a crazy weak side block on a Kevin Love blocking foul that turned into a goaltending. But I was like, you see it. Yep. Yeah, you see it and you're like, shit. And he's typically in lanes and deflecting passes. And I want to say one thing. He is slow sometimes. I don't think he's that slow, but he runs out there and he closes out with his soul. He jumps in. They typically go in. It doesn't matter. He's out there contesting.
And to look what you're saying, like he allows Bam to kind of roll, but in those instances where Bam is anchored and kind of closer to the basket, Nikola has gotten better in space. His feet have gotten better in space defensively. So like you said, he's trending in such a really nice way. And the two of them as a tandem, as you just, kind of listed off for us, give them, really, really good things that makes them dynamic on both ends of the floor. I hope they continue to kind of look at it. Look, the fourth quarter. I know, like we're gonna do a pod. I want to do like some film stuff with you too. Like there's some shit that we could like really dig into.
For sure.
Fourth quarter. We won the game. Wasn't pretty, but we survived. What stood out to you, Franky, from the fourth? How did you feel about Bam's aggression and Bam's process in the fourth?
I thought it took Bam a little bit to get going in the fourth, because they were trying to spam 2-man actions early on, and it was what I was mentioned earlier, that it wasn't there and they weren't moving the ball. They were still trying to force the action. And that's where they got into trouble. That's where a bit of their inefficiency came from. I also thought it was a little bit of dead legs. I thought yes. he played the whole fourth, Bam did, and I felt like there needed to be a little bit of breathing room for him. Luckily, I think he got motivated by all the no calls and the tech. But late in the game, when the game was on the line, he was being aggressive. He was going to the basket. He had that beautiful spin inside on Mo Wagner with the dunk.
Oh, the footwork. That was B''am. If you know, you know.
That should have been a fucking and one, man.
There were so many missed calls. He only took 6 free throws. That guy's leaving with a bunch of scratches and bruises tonight. Yeah. And he was a warrior tonight. Like I'm so proud of that. Like he did not let them lose, and he's perfected the fake jump for a block attempt. On the last possession, when Paolo was driving in, he went whoop, and he didn't jump, and Paolo still thought it disrupted it. He does that like 2 or 3 random times a game, and it works like 95% of the time. It's so funny to watch. And Paolo bobbled it. That's how he missed the first one. Unfortunately, he got the offensive rebound, missed the bunny. But I thought that was just a funny thing to know. Watch for that going forward. I thought overall, though, like as the lead dog tonight, even though the shot attempts didn't show it because Duncan took the most shots and had to take a lot of late clock shots. So that's, I'd rather go for a Duncan 3 home if you're instead of like a contested mid range. Yeah. But I felt overall the aggression was there. He took the brunt of it. There could have been a couple shots at the line, a couple more attempts at the line if the refs gave him to it. But he did bitch. He did moan about it, and he said, "I'm gonna do what I need to do and take us home."
Yep. Lou, how do you feel about Bam's process throughout the game, and particularly in the fourth? Like, and I agree kind of with Franky. It felt like it took him somewhere around like the 6.5, 7, 6-ish mark to like really, really kind of feel engaged from a scoring aspect, even though you felt Bam's presence kind of throughout the game.
Yeah. Shout out to Caleb for keeping him alive during those 6 minutes where Bam was trying to get his feet going. Yeah. But I felt like the processing got a lot better when they started just like when he starts simplifying the game for himself. The first half, the difference to me was in the first half and in specifically down the stretch in the fourth quarter. It's the thing that we talk about Jaime noticing where he has the advantage. Bam doesn't process that as quickly.
Correct.
So what I mean by that is sometimes he had guys like Batatse on him in the first half, and instead of bringing him out and trying to face him up, he was trying to back him down and shooting contested. He's not, the guy's bigger than him. It was tougher for him to move him. And then it felt like during the game, as the game started going on, it was like, this is my advantage, face up now. This is my advantage, post up now. And then he was, even when he was getting doubled in the post, he was making good passes. We just were missing our shots.
Got doubled a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but that process to me is still fine. I don't care if the shot goes in or not. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say that when you win. When you lose, it hurts a little more. But it is what it is. You trust the process, and stuff like that. But one thing I would love to know is how much, in my opinion, how much more comfortable Bam is with the ball in the middle of the floor as opposed to the block. And I was yelling this with my dad at the TV. I was like with 9 seconds, whatever, to win the game. I was like, if they give it to him on the block, I don't think, because on the block, when he's posting up, he has about 3 people looking at him, and he can't see 2 of them. He can't see his guy and the other guy under the rim. And that's what happened the first play, which should have been a foul. But once he got there, he didn't expect the help. Everybody was digging, and it was tough for him to gather himself. But as opposed to the very last shot, and throughout the course of the fourth quarter, except for that one highlight play on Mo Wagner, he was getting the ball at the top and really just surveying the floor and being like, this is what's comfortable. This is what I'm going to get to. This is what's comfortable. This is what I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
If that just comes quicker, the efficiency will come. I do think he played a lot more minutes than he probably wanted to today because not to harp on anybody, Kevin Love has deserved the most credit this year, but this was not his best game. Yeah. And they needed Bam back out there. And he delivered, man, on both sides of the floor. Shit. His processing it got better during the game, specifically in terms of getting his own bucket. But defensively, shit, he was there the whole game.
To your point about the comfort in the middle of the floor up high versus kind of off of the extended block, expecting a double. It's so much, the court is so much smaller off of the block when the double's coming. And the angles are so much different that you're still passing through hands, whether you're trying to make passes from the block and out versus from the top and kind of down that way. But the vision changes, and it's so much easier to kind of read where your advantages will be from the top, based on kind of, how defense is shifting. And I thought that was cool of you to point out, because it is a difference, and you can see it. And kind of you can see him thinking about it almost.
You see the giddy up in his dribble when he's in the middle of the floor. You see him oh shit, I got every move in my bag here. Yep. As opposed to when he's on the block, he feels like he's sustained to just posting up, and he does tend to go middle all the time. So that he tends to go towards just start him there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's where he tends to go. Start him there and let him fucking work.
No, and some of that I feel like it's. He's way more susceptible to getting the ball deflected when he's in the post because the ball's low, and when they dig, he's so bad at keep getting the ball up and going.
He doesn't raise it.
He doesn't. He keeps it here. He keeps it at the waist level. And even though they're small for NBA guys, they're still 6 feet tall. They're right above his waist. They're gonna grab that shit easy. When he's at the middle of the floor, he goes a lot faster. And that's one thing, I think that's one thing he needs to adjust to. Instead of trying to overpower these small guys, quicker, go strong, go one move, boom, in the chest, hook right there. He's trying to power, and then he bobbles it for a second, and it's all hands inside, and that's where the trouble gets to him. But yeah, man, I agree. I love his high post passing. I feel like he does see the floor better. But you can talk about in the playoffs, the Game 5 against the Bucks, when he was at the high post in the fourth quarter, pulling out Brook, finding the cutters on the pin downs on both sides, just making reads, and it was just beautiful to watch.
Oh, I'm thinking about a series like that today, or just actions like that in a lineup that has a Bam, a Nico, a Jaime, and a Jimmy. Just the passing, the vision, the cutting, and Haywood. I don't know what that 5 looks like, but I like the way that Haywood and I think Jaime are 2 best cutters, and they just move so well off of the decision makers when they're kind of stationed at the high post. There's so much more that we can talk about. I love talking to you too. We got to do a good film breakdown episode or something. I might bring Needle to the Groove out for the first time in 2 years, just to do some like Nikola Bam 2-man, just like really kind of getting into, schematically what's happening there. But good game tonight. Pulled out a win. G's gonna kill us, but he's probably somewhere drunk on his face.
Freezing his balls off.
Miami is back in action this Sunday with Hornets, Sunday with Charlotte, Monday with
Dwayne
the Nets.
Wade retirement game.
Yes,
Jersey.
shout out to the 3.
Hopefully they bring out a statue, but they won't. Mickey's cheap. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here on this Friday night. You all go do what you do. Be safe, have fun out there, and we will check in with you later. Thank you for rocking with us on Twitch. If you are watching the replays with us on our YouTube, we love you. If you are downloading the episode wherever you download your podcast episodes, we super love you. And yeah, we will see you guys next time.
Follow us on Playoff Foul. We love y'all. We love the support. Be safe. Everybody have a great weekend.
Have a good one.